Hey guys, my name is Alona and I'm going to talk about world education with Amilingo.com. I'm not really going to compare different systems of education around the world, but we'll talk about literacy rate and why some of the countries they have poor literacy rate comparing with developed countries. And there are new students here so far. Actually, Michael is connecting. So I'm going. Hey, Michael.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing good. Hey, Alexander. Hello? Alexander, can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Okay, Michael, here is the link on the right. Hey, Michael. Hey, Svetlana.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Hello? Svetlana, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, perfect. I can hear you too. How was your day?
It was work day, my first work day after 4 days off.
Oh yeah, I remember you have 4 days off. How does it feel being at work after 4 days off?
I was lazy, but it was okay. Anyway.
Alright, glad to hear it. Okay, can you see the link that is on the right side? Alright, I want you guys to open this link. And as I said before, we're going to talk about education around the world, and I'm not really going to compare different system of education around the world, but I want more to specify on literacy rate and why in some countries it is such a low literacy rate comparing with other countries. Hi, Valentina. Hello? Valentina, can you hear me? Hello?
Hi.
Hey, Evgeny, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm doing good. How do you feel yourself?
Could you repeat that?
How do you feel yourself? Are you feeling any better?
Fine, how are you?
Yeah, good as well. Glad to hear it. Hey, Alexander.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great. How's your day going so far?
It's usual day. Working
Usual?
day.
Nothing excited?
Nothing.
Okay. Hey, Valentina, can you hear me? Valentina?
Hi, yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. I can hear you really well, honestly.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna speak louder then.
Okay, perfect. How was your day? Valentina? How's your day going? I don't really hear you guys.
Okay, we maybe we can start and start
The class?
to discuss our topic.
Okay, I want you guys to open this link. Can you open it, please? Okay, we're going to talk about education around the world. Why do we need to get education? Did you guys open it? Michael, have you opened the link?
Yes, I open it.
Okay, so do you want to start reading?
Okay, which sentence first? Education is essential, yes?
Exactly, yeah.
Education is essential to a healthy and self-determined life. Around 79% of the world population can read and write, but there are big differences in the literacy rates between regions.
Okay, just say percent.
Percent.
Around 79%. Okay, Svetlana, can you answer the first question? So how many percent of the world can write and read?
79%.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so let's move on. Do you think that it is high percentage of literacy rate or not? Do you guys know what literacy rate is?
No.
Literacy rate is people's ability to like read and write. It's like gramotность, actually. It's not specifically higher education or like college education, or not secondary or primary education. It's just the ability of people like to just write and read. That it was literacy rate. Okay, so do you think that it is a high percentage of literacy rate or not? And we are talking about 79% right now. Hey, Natalia.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great. I'm going to send you the link, and we're going to talk about today about world education. Okay, guys. So, Valentina, do you think that it is a high percentage of literacy rate or not?
Well, it's pretty high. 79, not bad.
Okay, but I mean, there is still like lots of people around the world that are illiterate. Let's say that 79. I don't think it's really highest to me, but I don't know. But it is pretty high. Okay, do you think that it really matters if people in your country are educated? Valentina, what do you think about it?
Well, yeah, I think that it's very important
What do you
if
think
the
it is
majority of those people are educated, because, you know, the people represent the country.
Mm-hmm. True. Svetlana, what's your opinion towards it?
I'd like I'd like to live in a country full of educated people. Also,
Too.
to follow them, maybe to learn from them.
Mm-hmm. True. I think it's so much better. Alexander, what do you think about it?
I agree with Svetlana. I think all people should be educated
Mm-hmm. True.
as possible.
Okay. Do you guys know what is GDP?
GDP?
Yes.
Mm.
It's like how much money the country has. Like, so I think that the literacy rate, like the higher the literacy rate, the higher the GDP is in a country. And there is a term in English. It's no, it's not BBP. It's yes, GDP. And there is a term GDP per capita. It's how much money in a country is specifically for one person. So the higher the literacy rate, the higher is the GDP in a country. So I think the literacy rate is super important as to me. And I do agree with all your opinions. Okay, let's move on to page number 2, and it's right to education. And Alexander, would you start please reading it?
Many emerging countries do not appropriate the financial resources necessary to create schools, provide schooling materials, nor recruit and train teachers. Funds pledged by the international community are generally not sufficient enough to allow countries to establish an education system for all children. A lack of financial resources has an effect on the quality of teaching.
Okay, I should say an effect.
An effect.
An effect and financial resources. Financial
resources has an effect on the quality of teaching.
Yes.
Teachers do not benefit from basic teacher training and schools, of which there are not enough, oversized classes. This overflow leads to classes where many different educational levels are forced together, which does not allow each individual child to benefit from an education adapted to their needs and abilities.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexander. And okay, we have so many new students. Hey, Dmitry.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Nice.
Oh, glad to hear it. How was your day? How was your day, Dmitry?
No understand.
You don't understand? How was your day? Like, how is your day so far?
Good day. I am work day. I work day.
Were you working all day?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the English class. How are you, Larry?
I'm good. And you? Yourself?
I'm really good. I haven't seen you for a while. How have you been?
Well, I'm having my holidays now.
Oh, great.
So
are you doing anything exciting?
Yeah, I'm relaxing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make it to fly to Egypt for my holiday, so I'm staying in Moscow.
Well, next month, and we're talking about the education today. Okay, and the question is, do you think that the quality of education depends on the financial situation of the country? Svetlana, could you answer this question?
I suppose it really influences on education in the country, because when you don't have anything to eat, even to wear, it's difficult to find money to teach people and to develop them.
Okay, Valentina, what do you think about it?
The quality of education depends on the financial situation in question?
Yes, like, do you think that the quality of education depends on the financial situation of the country?
Yeah, definitely it does.
Okay.
Because with lack of financial resources, the country is not able to recruit and train teachers, and of course can't be able to provide the necessary materials for students and stuff.
Right, I totally agree with that. Thank you. Okay, and the next question is, how can education be improved in the countries with the low literacy rates? Valerie, could you answer this question, please?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. So.
Okay, did you open the link?
Just give me a second.
Sure, we'll repeat the question for you. How can education be improved in the countries with a low literacy rate?
Okay.
You know, like some countries that are not really developed, they have low
low literacy rates. Okay, yeah, I see. Well, education can be improved in many ways. Well, of course, education should be
You're breaking up. I can really hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I hear you pretty well.
Breaking up. Okay, now I can hear you.
But Alona,
yeah?
Do you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you right now.
So education, of course, it should be state supported.
Right.
And the state should really take care of its population and of its children, because children are future, and a state should make huge investments into education. Whatever the situation in an economy may be, it should be a state priority to provide children with good education.
Okay, I have a question to you. Do you think that the education should be free of any charge?
Well, I guess school education should be free of charge.
Okay.
Yes. As for higher education, it should be, it should be paid, but maybe there should be, of course, free of charge vacancies or seats for poor families, because there can be really talented guys, and I guess that there should be some people responsible for granting such free of charge possibilities to poor children who are talented, very talented, and so they should use this benefit to get a free education.
True. Thank you, Valerie. Alexandra, what do you think about it? Alexander, can you hear me?
Yes, about how to improve.
Yes. Like.
I don't know. Maybe invite foreign teachers.
Okay. You meant to invite them for like English classes, like in order to learn English, or like any kind of foreign language?
Any kind of subjects.
Do you think that foreign teachers are actually better than Russian or Ukrainian teachers?
I thought we speak about countries with low literacy rates.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we are.
Like low literacy rate, but in general, for example, let's say like Sub-Saharan Africa, do you think that teachers are not like qualified enough in order to provide good education?
And I said that about. I thought about. I said about countries which. Меня запутали.
Okay, I understood your point.
Только что сказал свой вариант, а потом первоначально про приглашение учителей.
So you meant that for...
Что-то со связью не так.
Go on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you too.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Can everyone hear me? Valerie, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, Svetlana, you can hear me. Perfect. Valentina, can you hear me?
Yeah, but the connection is cutting actually.
I know.
I guess you're having problems with the connection.
Okay, Alexandra, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. So let me make it clear. So your idea. was that the low literacy rate countries by inviting the foreign teachers. Okay, I got your idea.
I can't hear you
let's move on
clearly.
to. You can hear me still?
Now, yes. What did you ask about inviting teacher? What do you want re-ask? Hello.
Just move on and maybe the connection will get better.
Sorry, what should I do?
Let's move on to
Maybe I should reload.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
But no, Alexander is not having problems.
I don't know. I cannot really hear him actually, but I can hear you, for example, really well, and I can hear Svetlana.
1 second. I listen all the dialogue. Everything is okay. Just listen each other, and everything will be okay.
No, I couldn't hear Alexander at all.
And ask the question, how is connection all time. Just if Alexander don't hear it, start to talk with Valery or Svetlana.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to most affected regions. It's page number 3. Oh, Valery, can you start reading, please?
Okay, I'm opening the file again, just because I'm on my iPad. Well.
Okay. So
it's being downloaded.
It's okay. Just go ahead and ask, and I'll ask Dmitry to start reading. Dmitry, can you start reading, please? It's page number 3. Dmitry, is the link open?
Yeah.
What's that?
What is how page?
It's page number 3, and it's called Most Affected Regions.
Okay, maybe I need it. It's so hard. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Sub-Saharan Africa is the most affected area, with over 32 million children of primary school age remaining uneducated. Central and Eastern Asia is as well as Pacific are also severely affected by this problem, with more than 27 million uneducated children.
Okay. Valena, can you continue reading further?
Okay. Essentially, this concerns Sub-Saharan Africa, where more than half of children receive an education for less than 4 years. In certain countries, such as Somalia, more than 50% of children receive an education for a period less than 2 years.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. What are your ideas to improve the literacy rate in those countries? Svetlana, what do you think? Like, we just read that in such countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, 50% of the children receive an education for a period less than 2 years. I think it's not enough at all, and something should be done towards it. So, what are your ideas, guys? How to improve the literacy rate in those countries?
It's really interesting because the rate of their education influences their rate of their literacy rate. I mean, if we can educate them and to teach them to live in a more development country and maybe to develop their economics or their life, and maybe they live in the poor and poorness because they are uneducated. They are not educated as well. I don't know.
Your idea is we should, like, first of all, it should be the problem is the economy should be solved, and if the economy would be like better off, so it would influence a better education. Is it right? Did I get your idea right?
Right.
Okay. Valerie, what do you think about it?
Well, first of all, I'd like to express my personal attitude to the issue of so many children being uneducated in sub-Saharan countries. First of all, I'm not concerned about those children not being educated at all, because that's not my issue, and that's the issue of
so you do not care.
Those countries. Well, okay, you can criticize me severely, but I don't care at all. Okay. Because I care, of course, I care about this country, and I think that Russia, both Russia and the Ukraine, have a lot of their own issues to care about. Yes, but so it's the business of those countries, of course, and so they should strive to seek money to fund their educational system. So I'm really in a difficult position to advise something on the subject. So it's just about money, and about financial issues.
Sure. Okay, Valentina, what is your opinion?
Well, what can I say? Well, I guess those countries, they have other priorities. They have so many problems, economic and others. So they should solve those problems first, and probably they will find out how to increase the percentage of children being educated. Because most of those countries are really about just to survive, you know, to find food, to get water and other stuff. So.
True. Okay. How many years do you think a person should be getting an education? Like, what is a minimum of years do you think like it's supposed to be for a person to get an education? Valerie, what's your opinion?
Well, it's 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yes, for 10 years, a person should be getting an education for 10 years, and that's compulsory, I guess. Yes, and it should be free education from the state.
Okay. Do you have like lyceums or like some, I don't know what do you call them in Russia, but like special schools for where you're supposed to pay money in order to get education at?
Alona, pardon, I just
sure. Do you have like those lyceums in Russia where the education is not free of charge, like you are supposed to pay money education?
Well, in Moscow, of course, even school education isn't free at 100%. So it really depends, and there are paid schools, there are state schools, but even at state schools, parents have to spend money on books, maybe on uniform, on different for different purposes, and schools charge their students, parents of their students, in relation to trips, maybe to some additional courses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, let's move on to the next question, and the next question is: do you think that education should be compulsory? And Valerie, I know your opinion towards it. you mentioned lots of times that it's supposed to be compulsory, but what about you, Alexander? What do you think? Alexander?
Yes, what does compulsory mean?
Compulsory means like обязательный.
Obligatory, yeah.
Do you think that education should be? Yes, I think that education should be compulsory.
Compulsory.
Because I think people, as he lazy, he doesn't want to study, and we can have a lot of people are not being educated.
Yeah, I think so as well. Thank you. What's your opinion, Svetlana?
I think so too, because maybe when we are in our childhood, when we children, we don't understand how important education is. So maybe we should be pressed by our parents, by our government, and then we understand, we realize.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Dmitry, are you following us? Like, are you on page number? What page are we? Oh, on number 5.
Today is the girl. Today is girls.
What's that?
You have the least access to education. This problem occurs most frequently in Arab states, Central Asia, and in
Southern
and Western Asia, and principally explained by the culture and traditional privilege treatment given to males. Girls are destined to work in the family home, whereas boys are entitled to receive an education.
Okay, thank you very much. Valeria, could you continue reading, please?
Okay. In sub-Saharan Africa, over 12 million girls are at risk of never receiving an education. In Yemen, it's more than 80% of girls who will never have the opportunity to go to school. Even more alarming, certain countries such as Afghanistan or Somalia make no effort to reduce the gap between girls and boys with regard to education.
Okay, thank you very much. I would add also India to this list. I have heard that they have a huge gap between girls and boys in the countries, and it is also always the most privileged to a boy. In order to get basically strangers in home, and they're like housewives, so they do not like provide any education to a girl in most of the cases. Okay, so is there a gap in receiving the education in your country between like boys and girls? Svetlana.
Of course, our education system is not perfect, but we don't have any borders, between boys and girls' education. So I'm happy that I live in this age when I'm have the same rights as men.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Totally. What about you, Valeria? Valerie?
Oh, well, yeah. So, yes, in Russia, there is no gap between boys and girls. Opportunities to get education.
True.
I think that there must be full equality between the sexes, at least in this respect. Well, what should I say else?
Yeah, I think it's the same here in my country, in Ukraine. There is no Latin base, and I'm really happy about it because I can get an education and I can be an educated person, and it's not really like there's no really difference between men and women today in the society, as according to me. Valentina, what do you think about it?
Do I think about the same question? If there is a
is there a gap?
No, there is no gap. But I think I would prefer a gender education in our country because there is a difference between understanding and getting the information between males and females.
What country are you from?
Russia.
Okay, all right.
I remember. Pardon. I remember that Valentina is living in Chile. Isn't she?
But I'm from Russia.
Yeah. Okay, so you're living in Chile at the moment.
I'm sorry?
Are you living in Chile at the moment?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you speak Spanish?
I do, of course.
That's pretty cool.
Nobody speaks English in Chile, so I was obliged to learn Spanish.
I took Spanish for 1 semester in college, and my like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay. Do you think that it is normal for the girls not to have an opportunity to get education? Alexander, what do you think about it?
I would like to be married with educated woman, I think.
Okay. Sure.
I can't imagine what the person without education, what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty hard to imagine, but I mean there are those people, of course, all over the world. Okay. Why do you think people are not changing this tradition of not providing education to girls in their countries? Svetlana, what do you think about it?
Maybe it's convenient to men not to give rights to women because they have to stay at home and to grow up their children. It's old system.
I have a question to man. Valerie, for example, is going to back. Would you prefer a wife who's a like stay-at-home mom, or like housewife, or like do you want her to work? Valerie?
I wasn't listening to you because he took off his headset.
Yes. Okay. Okay. What do you guys think about it? Alexander.
I didn't understand question.
Okay, you said that you do like educated women, but do you prefer, for example, your wife, for instance, if you have a wife, do you prefer her to be like stay-in like wife, or do you want her to work?
Which I should prefer. I didn't understand, sorry.
Would you like to have a housewife or a worker? I mean, a woman who will work and make her own money?
I would say I think I prefer a wife to be a housewife if I. Yes.
If you make enough money to provide a family, you mean?
But if I have no enough money,
okay,
it's difficult, I think.
All right.
but but then I can have warm food. I think. I
Warm
hope.
food.
I hope.
Okay. All right. Dmitry, what do you think about it? Do you prefer a housewife or a working wife?
I not understand question.
Okay. Do you prefer your wife to work or stay at home? Okay, maybe you will listen to Valeri's answer and you will understand. Okay, Valery.
Yes. Well, actually,
Same question to you.
yeah, I'm married, and my wife is on maternal leave. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes.
The connection is breaking it.
So yeah, I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm married, and we have a 2-year-old son, and my wife is on maternal leave. So currently she's a housewife, but in a year when our son starts going to the kindergarten, she will come back to work. Well, ideally, I'd prefer my wife to work, because life is really expensive, and in Moscow it's very expensive. And although I have got a good salary, but I wouldn't mind my wife to work, not to be the only breadwinner for the family. So, and we could use additional money for our family budget, and so that we could save more money for a rainy day, which can start at any time during these economic fluctuations. So, yeah, I'd rather have my wife work.
Okay. Thank you.
Although it's really convenient for me to go back home every evening and to see dinner on the table, and just the order at home, and yeah. But life is cruel, and we should everyone should work to stay in the surface.
Okay. All right. Okay, I will ask the same question now to women. What do you think, girls? Would you prefer, like, okay, if you are married, would you prefer to stay at home and be housewife, like take the housewife position, or you would prefer to work? Valentina.
Well, accordingly to our reality, I guess everybody should work to be independent. And to have your own money, your own possibilities to do what you want, and don't be dependent on your husband. So, yeah, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would like to not to work, but want to be sure in my future. Want to be sure in my life and myself. So, yeah.
Sure. Understand. Okay, thank you. Svetlana, would you prefer to be a housewife, or would you prefer to work?
Actually, this question for me is not question of price of life, or independency. It's question of my own wishes. I like to be I like to grow. I'd like to grow up. I mean, I like to be educated. I'd like to go to go up. I don't know how to say.
You want to develop yourself all the time.
I can't imagine my life without working, without solving problems, some working problems or problems in my life. I mean, some tasks maybe. So it's like a challenge, and I can't stay at home. I can't imagine them.
Okay. I think what you are trying to say is like developing, like always to развивать себя, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let's develop. Okay, let's move on to 11 facts about the education around the world. It's page number 6. Valery, could you read it, please?
No, Valerie isn't here.
Okay, Svetlana, would you please read it?
Facts about the education around the world. 1. As for 2012, 31 million primary school pupils worldwide dropped out of school. The second, in the sub-Sahara, 11.7 million children leave school before completing their primary education. In South and West Asia, the number reaches 13.54 million. 3. While girls are less likely to begin school, boys are more likely to repeat grades or drop out of school. 4. According to UNESCO, 61 million primary school-age children were not enrolled in school in 2010. Of these children, 47% were never expected to enter school, 26% attended school but left, and the remaining 27 are expected to attend school in the future.
Okay. I would ask Valerie again to read it.
Okay, yeah, 5. Do you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Children living in a rural environment are twice as likely to be out of school than urban children. Additionally, children from the wealthiest 20% of the population are 4 times more likely to be in school than the poorest 20%. 6. In developing low-income countries, every additional year of education can increase a person's future income by an average of 10%. 7. Children who are born to educated mothers are less likely to be stunted or malnourished. 8. Women with a primary school education are 13% more likely to know that condoms can reduce their risk of contracting HIV or AIDS. 9. 53% of the world's out-of-school children are girls, and 2/3 of the illiterate people in the world are women. 10. Education empowers women to make healthy decisions about their lives. 11. The youth literacy rates in South America and Europe are among the highest, with 90 to 100% literacy. The African continent, however, has areas with less than 50% literacy among children ages 18 and under.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the question part. How the education can influence the higher income of the person? Alexander.
Person.
Do you know what is income?
What does this question mean?
Как образование может влиять на на высший доход человека? Вот, к примеру, как образование может повлиять на то, чтобы вы зарабатывали больше?
I don't know really. It depends of person. I think.
You think it's all individual?
If person. Yes, it depends on individual. If person, let us сказать, fit this area of education, this education can help him. But if this person fit just area where he don't need to get education, I think he don't need it.
Okay.
Doesn't need.
Yeah, doesn't it? The person doesn't. Okay, thank you. What do you think about it, Svetlana?
I suppose education is power. So if you can know more, and you can control different areas, different people maybe. different. You can invent something. You can be a good businessman. Different ways of getting money.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Why do you think that 53% of the world kids are out of schools are girls? Valerie, what do you think about it?
Well, I guess it's because of those countries in Africa or in Asia.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some Arabic countries.
Arabic countries, yes. And girls are supposed to be housewives during all their lifetime, and of course, girls are less likely to go to school and to receive education.
Yes, that's what I think as well. Thank you. How the education can empower people to make healthier decisions about their lives? Okay, Michael, do you want to answer this question?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Why? How the education can empower people to make healthier decisions about their lives?
What is the decision?
Решение.
Okay.
Empower.
Empower is like вдохновленный.
Interesting question. Empower people make
Okay. Yeah.
I think all education which helps with maybe to have a decision with some problem, but I don't know if the person learns the mathematics, how it helps to make this healthier decision. It's not close.
Not close to right.
Maybe Valerie knows answer because
every time you don't want to answer, you're just like, maybe Valerie can answer. Okay, Valerie, what do you think about it?
Okay, I guess that educational people know more about diseases, for example. So that's about medical kind of education. Well, but actually all of us should know one or two things about medicine, about using some medicines and being careful in our sexual life, for example, about how to use condoms. So it was depicted in the text.
Right.
Yes, how not to, catch some, infectious diseases. So, yeah, illiterate people have much less knowledge, and of course, they can contract infectious diseases much easier. And not knowing anything about treatment, how to treat those diseases, they can die, yes, and have serious consequences to their health.
Sure, and it's a really huge problem. For example, in Zimbabwe, the life expectancy there is like 35 years because there are so many people that have like AIDS and HIV, which is scary. Hey, Luba.
Yeah,
hello,
how are you doing?
For being so late. I am great, but I have mixed again the time. That's why I'm so late.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to.
You're just on time.
Education, and I'm going to send you the link with the text. And actually, we're on page number 8. Okay, so the next question would be, why do you think Europe has the highest literacy rates, Alona? I think it was Europe and Latin.
It's interesting. It's interesting question because they have it because of the economics, and then because of the historical factors, it's a long line of factors, and
True.
Yeah.
I must think about.
Svetlana, you should say economy, because economics is a subject.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Right. But if she wants to say like economical situation, then it would be economical. Okay, let's move on to the system of education in USA. Luba, did you open the link?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. We are on page number 8, and it's pretty much in the end of the page. Okay, so the National Educational Act of 1944 provided 3 stages of education: primary education, secondary education, and primary and secondary education. Primary and secondary school. Okay, Luba, do you want to start reading? Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Around the 6 USA children begin primary school, which is most commonly called elementary school. They attend 5 or 6 years and then go into secondary school. Secondary school consists of 2 programs. The first is middle school or junior high school, and the second program is high school. A diploma or certificate is awarded upon graduation from high school. After graduating high school, 12th grade, US students may go on to college or university. College or university study is known as higher education.
Just say college. College or university education.
College, okay.
And we are moving into the grading system in your country. Like, do you have like in my country it's 12 grading system. Is like from 1 to 12. 12 is the highest grade, and it like decreases. What about your country?
Is it for me?
Do you guys understand the question? Svetlana, did you understand my question?
Russia, we have the same system.
Okay. So you have also 12 grading system.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. All right, so we're going to talk about grading policy in the United States, and it's a little bit different. They have like A minus, B plus, B minus, C plus, C minus, D plus, D, F, I, but you don't want to get like D or F because those are the lowest. F means fail, and it's all according to 100%. So you can see here 100, so on. Okay, let's read about it. Valerie, would you please read about it?
The grading system and GPA in the US can be confusing, especially for international students. The interpretation of grades has a lot of variation. For example, 2 students who attended different schools both submit their transcripts to the same university. They both have 3.5 GPAs, but one student attended an average high school, while the other attended a prestigious school that was academically challenging. The university might interpret their GPAs differently because the 2 schools have dramatically different standards.
Okay, thank you very much. Alexander, would you continue reading, please, about the academic year?
The school calendar usually begins in August or September and continues through May or June. The academic year at many schools is composed of 2 terms called semesters. Some schools use a 3-term calendar known as the trimester system. Still others further divide the year into the quarter system of 4 terms, including an optional summer session. Basically, if you exclude the summer session, the academic year is either comprised of 2 semesters or 3 quarter terms.
Thank you very much. Oh, actually, that's what I like about the American educational system, because you can actually choose when you want to start the semester. You may start the semester in winter or even in spring, or you can start the semester in summer and you would just study in summer. It just depends on you. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of how many months are you going to study. Not like there is you have your like end day in May. Okay, let's move on to vocabulary. Okay, Svetlana, could you start reading the words, please?
Primary education, dropout, enrolled, reduce, decrease, increase, illiterate, empower, secondary level education, literacy rate, among, to remain, poverty, unemployment, emerging, pledge,
Yes,
to establish, overflow, to occur, entitled, expected to, additionally, to be stunted,
malnourished,
condom, to spread, promoting, compulsory schooling, emerging countries, and appropriate.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions according to this topic of world education? Okay, I suppose you don't. Alright then, it was nice having you here at English class, guys, and I hope to see you soon, and you have a good event.
Thank you, Alona.
Luca, next time come earlier. You came too late today.
I will try.
Alright. Okay, bye guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.